on the raging controversy on electronic transmission of election results is in real time is the 2023 presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, Aderele Adebayo. Glad to have you join us here in the studio, Prince.
Thank you very much.
Let me just start from the premise.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
God bless Nigeria.
Of course, we all must continue to bless. It's our country.
That's true.
It's not. It doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to all of us. And we must work to make it work.
That's true.
You listen to both the MBA, the Senate President, the Speaker of the Senate, Adara Modu, all that they're saying. Can you make sense of it all? You know, even your party has come, we'll come to that, but can you make sense of all they were saying before we get into what the opposition parties are saying, your party is saying, and the fact that INEC has recognized your party?
The issue at hand is that we have a duty to strengthen our democracy, especially at a time when the government is announcing to us that they've discovered a coup and they're trying to punish the coup plotters. So the reason why we support the government in punishing the coup plotters is that the coup plotters are trying to undermine our democracy. So those who are in the Senate are also trying to undermine our democracy by misusing the legislative advantage that they have. We have a problem with the Electoral Act 2022 as it is. There are many problems there, but one of which has consensus is that we need to give statutory backing to the initiative of INEC to transmit election results from the polling unit straight to their portal, which is the RF. On many occasions, poll clerks will not do it. Presiding officers will not do it, and it becomes a problem. When you challenge it in court, the Supreme Court has said anything that is not contained in the Electoral Act is a mere suggestion. So they don't have to follow it. So the Senate had a duty to just let that language be. And there were public hearings, committees, all things done, and we all agreed. Both the majority that Adara Modu mentioned and the minority, everybody agreed that we should mandate INEC officials, once they get the result from EC8, to transmit it immediately, real time, right there, to RF. There is no ambiguity there. There is no reason to remove it. The problem that they have is that they are afraid of the people. They are afraid of a system that is free from manipulation. There is no pretending that you don't understand English anymore. The English is simple. Right now, INEC has it as a policy, but some of the officials may, for one reason or the other, not comply. And if they don't comply, between the place where the polling unit where the result is issued and the RA where you are doing collation and the other stages of collation up to the case of presidential election which are contested, the result changes and it's very clear. Sometimes it's not the reason why you win or lost, but it always has an impact.
What do you make of the fact that the Senate President said that we're jumping the gun, the process is yet incomplete?
The Senate President has not taken time to understand the legislative process. Every stage of the legislative process attracts scrutiny. What he has done is that they did a setback. The provision was already there. And when they were reading, they adopted the old provision.
Retain the 22 transfer.
Yes, which at that stage, what he is saying that we should wait till votes and proceedings, that's a highly responsible statement to make. One, the moment you pull a gun out, pointing the gun at me, that's the time I have to react. You can't say, oh, but I have not put the trigger. When you put the trigger, it's too late. Once you show the intention to not hearken to the voice of the Nigerian people, to do something other than what the Nigerian people want, the Nigerian people have a right to make that Senate chamber ungovernable for you to realize that you are in that Senate chamber on the strength of the will of the Nigerian people. And that if you want to do houseboy for somebody or serve their interests, do that in your personal capacity. But not at a time when we are trying to pass the most important amendment in our generation. There is no reason why anyone will waste time to debate the issue. We need that real-time electronic transmission of result. We needed it years ago, but at least we need it now. And let me explain Adara Amadu's Better Grammar Book 1 that he's doing there. The real time is when the result happens.
I was going to, okay, let me add this.
Yes.
So now you're talking about real time.
Yes.
I discussed the legislative consultant
Yes.
who says both the opposition and the parties
Yes.
do not really know what they are asking for when it comes to real time, because elections, one, are not conducted electronically, and two, if elections were to end here by 2, for example, or all the polling stations by 2, you could have in one place 100 people, another place 2,000 people, and so it may not end here by 2. So what happens to where it ends, say 4? But parties should be talking about the interpretation, where the interpretation part of the act, and parties are not talking about it.
Let me explain something. You know, the word real time is a digital language. It came from computer. What real time means is that if I send you money at 2 o'clock through a bank payment system, if you get it at 2 o'clock, 2 seconds past 2 o'clock, it's real time. If you get it in the night, it's no longer real time. What they are trying to do, and if real time is disturbing them because some of them went to evening classes or whatever, they should change the language to immediate. What we want is this. One problem, the legislation is not saying, the provision is not saying that there should be transmission of votes. It is the results. So other argument is red herring. Whether you are voting electronically or not is not relevant. The requirement is not transmission of votes, it's transmission of results. And the real time for the results is the moment you derive the result and your agents and the officers sign it. That time is the real time. And the real time in one polling unit is not the real time in another polling unit. So you collect results in Gwagwalada and you finish at Gwagwalada Primary School, and you finish at 5 p.m. They must still be voting in Kuje.
Good.
But by that 5 p.m., real time, the legal obligation on that agent to transmit it has arisen. And if he doesn't do it, it's violating the law. If he does it, and that some people are crying about bandwidth and all of that, if he does it and it's hanging in the air, that's not your problem. Because once you send it, you can't recall it.
Yeah.
And as IRF works, sometimes this data gets uploaded overnight, over the weekend. That's not a problem because we know that you have uploaded it in our presence and all the agents are happy. Then we wait to download it at the IRF. If you do it on Saturday, we see it on Monday, we know that no Jupiter can change it.
Now, with what they have said in the immediate,
yes,
what should the parties, the CSOs, and the citizenry be doing to probably, I don't know whether to use the phrase, make sure that what the citizens want, what Nigerians want, which is electronic transmission, is included in the Electoral Act, the amended Electoral Act?
Let me seize this opportunity to warn Senator Godswill Akpabio, Speaker Abbas, those who work in National Assembly, and President Tinubu, I can tell you, we are extremely serious and sensitive about this electronic transmission. And if they want the democracy to end on this subject, we will give it to them. They must put it, because that's what the people want. Or they should resign and leave the place. If they think we are going to make noise for 2-3 days and forget about it, we are not. If you don't do electronic transmission, if you don't put it in law, this election will not hold. And the government will leave. They must put it. We are not joking. If we have to do whatever it takes to make them do it legally, because they are not acting legally, so we do pragmatically. I can tell you, we are gentle, we love the country, we want the system to run, but if they play a monkey game with us on this issue of electronic transmission, I don't mind to contest an election that is free and fair and I lose. I will salute the winner. But if you want to turn yourself to a center of electoral bandits and hijack every opportunity that the people want for peaceful improvement of our lot, anyone who is sketching and dancing around the issue of electronic transmission definitely has shown you the first warning that they don't want free and fair election. Last election, that is not the reason why I lost, but it's a major reason. The votes that I got in the polling units in one particular state, 122,000, the one INEC announced is 22,000. If there was electronic transmission, that issue will not occur.
Before I let
so
you
that
go,
is very important. We are not joking with it. They joke with us, they will be mightily surprised.
Before I let you go, INEC recently validated the Sadiq Gombe leadership of SDP as a legitimate one. Can one now say no more squabbles in SDP, and what does that do for your party with the election just around the corner?
It just shows, it doesn't make much difference for our party, but it's good for INEC, because INEC was interfering in internal affairs. It is the same executive we have now. One person resigned as a result of a probe voluntarily. The auditor, it's gone his way. Two people, the former national chairman and the former youth leader, were suspended, eventually removed. That should not have given INEC a headache. It's not their business. The INEC started disturbing us. They said, well, they prefer the signature of the people who had left, started disturbing, just causing problem for us, taking official letters that should come to the secretary at 17 Nairobi Street to private homes of individuals. So eventually, we went to court against them. You saw the story. And now INEC, even at the last meeting they had with our national chairman, said, we will treat you fairly and we will obey the law. So that is what happened. There's no faction. If you say, this person is our chairman, we elected him, but now we don't want him anymore, democratically removed him, it's left to him to go to court. It's not the business of INEC to start crying for anybody. So we are willing to make the party work for the Nigerian people and to canvass alternatives and to see that those who are disappointed with the poor performance of the APC and President Tinubu and many of these governors who are jumping all over the place and the National Assembly members who are misbehaving, at least there is another platform that is serious, that is determined that you can go. The priority of democracy and giving people option. That's what the SDP is for.
We'll leave it there, Prince Adeola.